Hello guys, Billy back, and this time we're going to be looking at Threezero's Saitama One Punch Man figure. One Punch Man is part of a new wave of anime that I've found a new love for. Basically, the TV show lampoons and makes fun while also celebrating the best parts of anime like Dragon Ball Z and superhero movies and the such. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to have a quick look at the figure, and then we're going to have a look at all the accessories, and I'll finally give my review. Okay, first and foremost, I've managed to put him into a pose where he's in a sort of winding up for that world famous punch that he has. Now, you'd be surprised how interesting an anime about a guy who can defeat an enemy with one punch can be. It's basically not just about him, it's about all the other heroes surrounding him, and it's also about their villains, and it's also themes of like nihilism and also what a life without conflict is like and that kind of thing. There's levels. I'm not even going to start going into it in this video about One Punch Man, simply because if I did, I'd be here all day. But honestly, there are people on YouTube who have done much better explanations as to why One Punch Man, the TV show and the manga, works far better than I ever could, so I'm just going to leave them to it. But anyway, I decided to get the figure just because I love the show so much, and I was sincerely hoping that this would be a really good posable figure, simply because One Punch Man is designed to look pretty crappy. His costume is crap. He's based on some sort of little mascot from Japan called Unpunman, and he's basically, the Unpunman character has a red suit with yellow boots and yellow gloves, so they just reversed it. I think he had a black cape, so they gave this guy a white cape, and they just, you know, it's all to do with lampooning superhero genre, as well as, you know, like some of the bigger animes and over the top stuff that you see in those types of shows. I was really hoping that this figure would be able to capture the best parts of the character, and for the most part they have really exceeded. If we zoom in, we can see that that face sculpt is fantastic. Looks very much like the anime, and really great with the sort of faded peachy skin tones, and they've really gone and done a great shine on that head. That's a great slap head, because obviously One Punch Man trains so hard that he goes bald.
If you're thinking about getting in my way, I'll put a spin sign on that big headlight of yours!
But that's a joke in itself as well. There's a billion jokes in it. Just go watch the anime, it's easier. It's absolutely fantastic, and you can just get a lint-free cloth and just polish that bright dome up perfectly. And then you've got the expression. Now this is the expression of his serious face when he's actually making a bit of effort, and it captures the art style of the anime perfectly. They've managed to not only make it in 3D, because obviously it's a 2D show in anime, like cartoon, but they've managed to render a 3D version of it, and they've also managed to get the anime style eyes perfect. There's no bleed off, there's no white running over the black and things like that. It's really subtle and designed. Now, it's not a challenge in terms of 1/6 scale. There are far more detailed, far more intricate head sculpts out there that this would probably not make too much of a challenge for most of the talented 1/6 scale head sculptors out there. But it's good that they managed to just keep the quality consistent through the entire head, including coming down to the nose, and he's got the mouth, he's got the curve just under the mouth there, and it moves around, and they've even given good detail to the ears. They haven't just done really rubbishy sort of flat shapes for ears. They've gone in and they've given the ears some depth, which is great. And as we come down, we can see the neck here. The head and the neck are the same colour pretty much, and this is a rubberized suit, so it's nice that they've been able to match them quite well. And we come down into the suit, and the simple basic simplicity of the suit is what makes it so great. Someone handmade it for him. He wants to be a superhero, but he's just a superhero for fun. He's not a professional superhero like some of the others in the show, but he then becomes tries to become a professional superhero later on. As we come in, we can see like all the clean lines around the top there. This is nice and printed, it's like a zip. None of this comes undone, unfortunately. This is all part of the suit, it's just cosmetic. As we come down, we can see that the stitching is super fine. There's a little bit of a zigzagging stitching just along here, but I don't mind. If that secures the suit better, I'm fine. It's a little bit loose, this suit, which I'm glad about, because this helps with the articulating of the figure, and we'll get into that in a little while. And then straight down, we come down, super fine stitching all the way down the side. This belt comes separate, you've got to put it on yourself, but it's intricately designed, and it's really finely tuned, so that when you put the belt on, it snaps perfectly into place, and you can almost not tell how it goes on, which is always nice. And then we come down, so it always runs down like a big jump jumpsuit, fine internal stitching down the side so you don't get a lot of horrible stuff on the outside. And then we go to the boots, and the boots have some shading around the edges and in some of the creases here, and the feet are separate from the top of the boots, which is okay, but as we found out in previous figures, and it's the same with this one, sometimes these top parts can interfere with the bottom part and make these just a little bit loose and difficult to put on. I know this foot pops off quite easily, but I don't want to do that right now. Unfortunately, there's no detail in the bottom of the boots. They just decided to slap the Threezero logo on there. And then we come to the cape, and the cape is finally stuck on there. I don't think this comes off. It looks stitched on, but I wouldn't be trying to pull that off if you can. But there's a wire all in the top half of the collar here, so you have to push that down, but when you do, it stays where it needs to stay. And then there's wires on the outside just along here. You can see it sort of reshaping already, and you can get this because of the wire going all the way down into here and comes up around here. You can actually get this to stick out quite a bit, and it will stay there, which is great because some figures they like to put a wire in the cape, but they only put it in from here to here, and it will sort of reshape the cape, but it won't hold the cape and flow it outwards and stick out like that. So this will be able to show you a bit more movement if you're moving around. Okay, articulation. Basically, articulation is really good. You get the full 360 turn in the head. You get a left turn there. Really solid. Starts to show off the crease here a little bit, but that's not too bad. Does the same on the other side. And because of the rubberized of the neck, I mean, this looks like it's difficult to turn because it goes right down there. The rubberization of the neck means the head goes back quite far because it can look up quite a lot. And you can come down, he can damn near touch the chin to the chest. In the arm, comes up to about shoulder length. The restriction is here, so it pulls on it a little bit, so it's a bit difficult to get this down. There is a bicep swivel, and you could really turn this really well. It comes all the way around. Really great bicep swivel there. There's no real hindrance apart from a bit of cloth there, but because the cloth is quite loose, it works really well. Then you've got a double bend in the elbow, so you can get the arm up to his chest, or you can get it because there's a butterfly joint in there as well. You can swing the arm around, get the arms up behind his back, and then of course you've got the wrist pegs. And this is what I mean about the looseness. Can make these parts a little difficult to sit on the joint. If you push it up, it's fine. I mean, if you're going to be posing this guy and moving him around, you just be able to put the hand back on. You'll be moving that hand mostly the way you want it anyway. And of course he's got full 360 turn in the hand. I think I'm going to be having difficulty because I'm going to be popping this hand off on and off every time I'm trying to pose him. As you can see, get his arm all the way in there, get his arms crossed, so you can get him doing the hands on hips pose if you really want. Now I was curious about the articulation in the waist because it's a rubber suited body here, and I wasn't too sure because it felt like it was being really restricted, but there's some sort of locking mechanism, so when you turn him to the side he can lock a little bit better, and that's how I got him to wind up into a punching pose. Because you can turn him that way, or you can turn him that way. See, the hand fell off again, never mind. And you bend that back all the way back and come all the way forward, and there's some real good articulation in the waist. You can't do full 360 obviously, but clothing will always restrict that. Then we come down to the legs. Can't really do the splits, I'm afraid, because he just comes out about that far. His leg can come straight out about that far. There is a double bend in the knees, so you can just get him to about there. And there's a bit of ankle pivot there, but again, like I said before, if you move this around too much, it's easy to pop off. But it's not as bad on this leg. I don't know why. It's very strange. And the leg goes back about that much. It's restricted by the backside, but it can come up. But if you really wanted, you can have the knees up and give him a nice pose like this. There is thigh swivel, so you can turn his leg to the direction you want it to. Especially if he's facing one way, you want the leading knee to be facing the way his head's looking. Thought maybe there'd be more articulation here in the knee, so that you could get that ankle right up to the butt. Doesn't seem to be able to do that. And the articulation pivot is okay, fairly good in the foot.
What's this? Are you sure you don't want to run away? And you're a new businessman already hating the daily grind. I ate too much crab and turned into this crablante. You should be crapping in your pants right now. Why aren't you running?
Okay, accessory wise, I got the Thinkgeek exclusive version. So he comes with a few extras. Comes with a pair of pyjamas that I think he wears at the end of the first episode. He also comes with a secondary head sculpt, and this one is a lot more of the innocent sort of doe-eyed One Punch Man Saitama, who has like a very vacant expression on his face a lot of the show. Even when the most extreme stuff's going on, he just has this sort of childlike, enthusiastic grin on his face, like he doesn't really know what's going on, and to be honest, he's not entirely afraid of it. There's not as much shine on the head on this one, and that's simply because when he's getting really angry, the head shines up nice and glossy and it gets all really stylized. Whereas in this one, he's usually looking quite flat. So they've kept the colour of the skin very different from the actual other head sculpt, simply because they're two very different people. There's this guy and there's that guy. You can see that the ears are a lot less detailed as well, simply because whenever they draw him like this in the show, it's usually to make him like a flatter sort of character. He's a bit bland, and they deliberately so as well. And then of course he comes with a set of hands. He obviously holds his fisted hands already. Comes with a left and right open hand and two gripping hands. Although what he's going to grip, I don't know. And then of course here's the thing that you all came to see, the leek.
Oh, baby!
This is the leek that he carries around during episode 1 when he's doing his shopping. And there's some nice greens in there. The green goes all the way down into a lime green, then into the white. Then comes back down into another lime green, and then into a deeper, darker green right at the bottom. And this is what you all really came for, isn't it? None of this stuff matters. This is what you wanted to see. You really wanted to see. And I have to say, this is probably the greatest leek that I've ever seen included with a 1/6 scale figure. No leek has ever been finer in terms of style and design. It's got a little bit of rubberization to it, so it's movement, which is very accurate to a real leek. I really think you guys don't understand the engineering and design and detail gone into designing this leek. You should all get on your knees and thank Threezero for this design. My God, have they gone to town with this. In fact, fuck all of the rest of this stuff off. None of this matters. This is what you came to see, the leek. Oh my God, isn't it beautiful? Look at that. Look at the details in the top. Oh my God, look at that bottom. Oh, leekarama. Okay guys, I think I'm gonna go, I've got to go lie down. I cannot take the sheer amount of work that has gone into producing this leek. Oh hell, the leek gods, Threezero. I really hope they make more vegetables in the future, because they smashed it.
Feels so good.
Crab claws. You can even see on the sticker here, they actually got the numbering right on there with a little barcode. And the crab claws look really great. Get some surprisingly nice detail in there. And they come with real plastic wrap over it with a little plastic tray. Like, they look real. And this is from episode 1 when he's doing his shopping and he's looking at the crab claws and he remembers the first ever enemy he defeated, which was the lobster man. And then of course you get some bare hands and some bare feet. Now here are the bare feet you get, just in case you want to dress him in the pyjamas. But of course it's got some articulation in the toe there. Quite a nice firm joint, respecting them for doing that. Sometimes they have these really loose and they don't work very well. But again, there's not much I can see here that isn't already, you know, out there. This isn't something special. You can buy these stock everywhere and anywhere you go. I have a ton of these bare feet everywhere. Only difference is that these have a slight more suitable colour for the skin tone of this figure. But they're very generic, and I wouldn't be able to say, oh my God, these take feet to the next level, because they don't. Then of course he gets this nice vinyl feeling shopping bag, like a recyclable one. They did it in a nice way that it almost looked plastic and transparent, which is what you'd want to carry a bag to be, but it's actually a sort of a smooth satiny fabric, but it does feel like and look like a good plastic bag, especially the one he carries. And that's to stick his lobster claws in and get the world's greatest leek. Look at that leek. Oh, beautiful leek in there. And then he'll carry that home for his dinner that evening. And then of course you get 2 extra wrist pegs. It's always nice when they include them. Okay, you might have noticed that I've got him standing on an Iron Man superposable flight stand, mostly because Threezero didn't include a stand with this figure. I don't know why. Maybe they're just so super confident that their figure will never fall off a shelf and that it's so super stable that it would never need a stand, or they couldn't be bothered. I think it's a shame, because every figure almost every figure I've bought that has been at least licensed, which this is, has come with a stand of some kind. Even if it was the generic stand that most Hot Toys come with a nameplate on, would have worked really well. It's a shame they didn't actually take that next step forward. In terms of design, it's really close to the original from the 2D animated show. I think they've done an excellent job rendering it in 3D, to be honest, but they did it really well. Not only that, but they've given him an almost stunningly accurate suit that's brilliant and it really works with the figure, and also the articulation is top notch. You can get him in a lot of very different poses. I've just got his hands on his hips there with the variant head sculpt on. He's got a really great posable cape, got some fantastic design in the boots, some good colour. We're talking really well stitching on the suit. We've got some great accessories, none more so than that leek. Oh my god, the leek, you know guys, you know how much oh wow. In terms of the extras like the PJs, this exclusive is probably the best way to go. Fortunately, you need a second body because they don't actually provide you with one, but you can swap him out and do variants of him. You can have him in a superhero pose, or you can just have him as the normal Saitama. But also, I do think that there is a few knockdowns in terms of the feet, which just feel like generic 1/6 scale feet you can buy from anywhere, just painted a different colour. You get some great accessories with the shopping. You get that leek, of course, and then you get the lobster claws and the shopping bag. In terms of accessories, they've done a really good job with him. He doesn't come with much. He's a very basic bog standard character, and he's, you know, they've done really well to try and cobble together enough to make a figure worth the money they're charging. But in terms of, you know, knockdowns, definitely the letdown of the feet. There's a big letdown with the slight popping of the hands and feet off when you're trying to reoppose him, and also you've got a knockdown because it doesn't come with a stand, which is not a big problem, but I don't understand why Threezero didn't bother. But anyway, that's it guys. He's definitely, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. It might seem quite high for a figure with a few shortfalls, but talking really great articulation on this. The suit barely hinders the articulation at all. You can get some really over the top poses out of it. I haven't stopped moving this guy around and posing him for the last couple of days. I keep coming back into the cave, moving bits on him around and then walking out and then going, oh no, I could do that better, and then going back and reposing him. So, you know, I think it's good value for money, especially over at Thinkgeek. They were selling him in a sale, and I think he was like $99, which is really great for a 1/6 scale figure of this caliber. And if they're still available, I'd suggest you go over there and check them out and see if you can't grab one yourself. But yeah, he's an 8 out of 10 guys. I love the anime, I love this character, and I love the figure. I'm just looking forward to getting Genos now. There's no way in hell I'm not getting Genos to stand next to this guy. Okay guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. It was just a really quick review of the 1/6 scale One Punch Man by Threezero. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you do me a favour, like and subscribe. And now I want you to get the fuck out of my cave. Thanks a lot guys. Bye bye.